Okay, good evening, everyone. Welcome to this makeup class. I don't know if you are all tired as I am. Let's see how far we can go in 1 hour. Mondays are usually very tired. Okay, can you hear me? Somebody said I'm sounding low. Is it low? Am I low? Let me see. Can we hear me loud and clear? So, 1 moment. Let me try. My microphone is adjusting itself. How is it now? Is it better? Hello, please, can you tell me if the sound is better now? Anyone there? Please let me know if the sound is better. Okay. Okay, I think we can continue. How many are we here? Okay. All right. Yesterday, yeah, we were able to see some examples of responsive website design or web design. And we're able to kind of try our hands on some images, how they respond to the different sizes of the screen that they are being displayed. We also did for text, also how text can be resized, depending on the size of the screen or the device they are being displayed on. So today we'll be looking at HTML semantic elements, and we kind of beginning to see what some of these elements mean and what they do and why we should have them in our HTML documents, as case may be. So let's quickly proceed. So semantic elements equals to elements with a meaning. So in HTML, when we talk about semantic elements, we're talking about elements that has a meaning. They have a purpose. They have a meaning, like a reason why they are being used. Okay, they are used for certain things. Okay, so what are semantic elements? Semantic elements clearly describe its meaning to both the browser and the developer. So, and that's one key thing about semantic elements. They have a meaning to the browser and also you as the developer as well. So examples of non-semantic elements like div and span, they are just containers. They tell nothing about the content, okay? They don't tell the browser what the content is doing. They are just containers. So when we talk about forms, tables, articles, now those ones clearly defines the content. They tell the the browser something, and the browser handles them according to what they are meant to do. Okay. So many websites contain HTML code like div, ID nav, div class, the div ID footer, to indicate navigation, header and footer. Okay, to indicate navigation, header and footer. So there are some semantic elements that can be used to define different parts of a website or of a web page. Okay, they can be used to define different parts of a web page. So I want us to pay attention to this seriously. Okay, So we have article, we have aside, we have details, we have caption, we have figure, we have footer, we have header, we have main, we have mark, navigation, section, summary, time. Now, these semantic elements have meaning. Okay, they have meaning to the browser. They are used for specific reasons or for specific purpose, because that's the way the browser will undo them. So from the image to the right, you can see we have the header, we have the nav, we have sections, we have articles, we have aside, we have footers. So footer. So the header, of course, is where your logo is. Okay, where the logo of the website will be, and probably maybe the search button or the login button. You can choose to add the menus there too, or you move the menus to the nav section. Nav is navigation. That's what it means, to the nav section. Then you see where you have your section. This is the section and the article here is the main body or the main content of your website. And then we have the aside where you can have other things. Like for some of us who have been browsing, we see that we go to some website and to the right, we just see some adverts there that any page we go to, those adverts will still show. Okay, that's like you can use as an aside to hold those adverts there. Then we have the footer. I showed us a sample of footer yesterday, what it looks like on Zoom websites. So if we scroll down here, where's itself now? And go there again. So if we scroll all the way down, this part that is dark, the black part is a footer. Okay, and also has some components in there that does one or two things. So this is like a footer here, or is a footer here. Okay, so let's go on. So now we take each of these elements one by one and try to see what they do or how they are being used. So first we are looking at section elements. The section element defines the section of a document. According to W3C's HTML documentation, a section is a thematic grouping of content, typically with a heading. Examples of where a section element can be used: you can use it in chapters, introduction, news items, contact information. Now, when I was designing a website recently, let me see if that website is still up. So where's that? Can't even remember the website name again. Let me try. I'm not sure I'm getting it right. Nah, I'm not getting it right. Okay, let's see. Let's try the 7studios websites. I just want to show us something there if it opens. While we're waiting for that, escape. Okay, so on a website like this, we have because this section at the top here is the head section, the header section. Usually you have a slider here, like many of us will see on different websites. So we can see there's a line here. So this line, this red area is a section. The white area and to the top here is a section. If I open the back end where I was developing this, we need to see that I use controls that are called sections to create these things here. So this particular red part you're seeing is a section, okay, that I've created, and I've painted the background red, and the text in it I've made to be white. Okay, so you can use section to create something like that, and if it's an article you're writing, you can have in chapters, or use it for the introductions and news item. By the time we move on, we're going to see how we use some of these things on our web page. Okay, so the web page could normally be split into two sections for introduction, content, and contact information. So if you look at the code we have here, we have section element, which is defined. Then we have a header and followed by a paragraph. And then we close the paragraph, close the section as well. Then we started another section. Okay. If you want to, I don't think we should code here, but when I release the material, you can try to do this coding if you want, but it's just going to appear normal. Let me just, let's just do something. So that, we're writing something. So I want you to go to Lorem Ipsum, go to your Google on your laptop through your browser and type Lorem Ipsum generator, so that we can generate some text. Okay. And we copy and we paste it in our code. So let us go so that the class does not seem to be boring for some of us. So let's create a new folder, call it day 14 under our HTML. A new folder, call it day 14. Now inside the new folder, create a new file, call it section without the s.html. Okay. So if you created your file, please let me know. Don't forget to put in the structure, basic document structure for HTML. So create your file. When you're done creating your file and you've generated your Lorem Ipsum, you've opened that website of Lorem Ipsum, which is this. So what we're going to do, we're going to just create these two sections that we have here. So let's get coding so that the class does not look boring to us or feel boring. Okay. So let's create a section here. Create a section. Under that we have H1. And in between H1 we have WWF. Make sure you're coding where you are. Let's get coding. So this paragraph is what we are going to copy, what we have in this lot, because I don't want us to be typing all this one. So just copy to make it faster. Copy what you have here. You can copy any part of it. If you like, copy everything like this, or you just copy a part of it. Okay. Copy it like that. And you come to your paragraph text here, paragraph here, elements, and paste it. I can just take this down. It's too long. Just bring it down like that. Okay. So we've created one section. Let's create the second section. Make sure you're typing at your end. Then we have WWF's panda symbol. All right. Now we create our paragraph inside that same section. In the paragraph, you copy the, maybe just say copy the other part of the Lorem Ipsum, this paragraph here. Copy. You can go ahead and paste it. So when you're designing your website and you don't have content yet, maybe your client. I've not given you content. You can just come to Lorem Ipsum here and generate this text, and just put it on your website to hold things in place for yourself. Okay, let's preview. So this is what we see. This is what it should be looking like right now from your end. Okay, this is what it should be looking like from your end right now. So you can see we have two sections. This is one, and this is second one. So ordinarily to your eyes, you may wonder that I could have just gone ahead to use H1, the header tag, header element, the heading element, and the paragraph element. Why am I using sections? Okay, so as you develop as you develop your skill in web design, just as you started, you begin to understand why you need to use some of these elements when you're developing your website as a professional. Because like I told us, search engines, the web browsers, they kind of undo these things in different ways, and that's why you must use each of them the way you are supposed to use them for your website to really be rated very good on the internet world or space. So who is done? Is anybody coding at all? You guys should be done by now. You don't need to type. If you choose to type all these text, well, anyway, that's fine. But you really don't need to type it. Okay, Esther and Busola, well done. Tosin, well done. So I hope it's displaying well. Let me run this in a browser. So we see how it looks like in a browser. Yeah. So you'll be having something like this. Okay. You'll be having something like this. So that's for section. We'll move forward to other ones that we have. All right. Now we have articles as well. Now I want you to take note of their purpose, what they use these things for. Don't forget, like sections you can use to create chapters, introductions, news item, contact information. Okay, you can enclose those in a section. Now we have articles as well. Okay, articles can be used for forum posts, blog posts, user comments, product cards, newspaper articles. The article element specifies independent, self-contained content. It specifies independent, self-contained content. An article should make sense on its own, and it should be possible to distribute it independently from the rest of the website. Examples of where articles or the articles element can be used is forum posts, blog posts, user comments, product cards, and newspaper articles. So just take note of all these areas that an article, that these elements can be used. Okay, so that when you get to such area or when you are coding such things like the blog post, you know that, okay, let me use my article element for this, so that when it gets to the browser or the search engine, the website can be ranked properly. Okay, and the browser also handles such element appropriately. Okay, so this is an article that you have here. So what I'm going to ask us to do, let's duplicate our document here, our HTML document here. Let's kind of duplicate it by doing what? You copy, and then you paste it back in day 14. When you do that, create a copy. This time around, let's change the name to article.html. So just type in article. That's it. So what I say you should do, instead of us having to be typing all these things they have here, let's just, we're going to just change certain things there. Of course, we change the element name. Sorry. Oh God, why is this thing doing this to me? Change this to article. And you also correct the closing tag as well, article. Okay. By Actually, you may not see any difference amongst these things. So I just copy this article, paste it here. So this is what I expect to do. So quickly, we have created 2 of them. Take the last one to make it 3, like we have in our example. So we have 3 of them right here. So what you then do, let's change the titles. The last one is Microsoft Edge. And we have it as H2. Just make sure you are doing this. What we are doing here, what you are kind of practicing here is editing a code, okay, which is very good. So the second article, the heading there says Mozilla Firefox. Mozilla Firefox. Change the heading to H2. Yeah, H2. And the first one, what does it say? Chrome browse, Google Chrome. First one says Google Chrome. So we change the heading here to Google Chrome. Because H2. H2. Can save this work. So we've used article here as well. So you may not be seeing any visible changes, and your mind, you may be wondering, why am I using this, or why am I using this article? Again, that's the way HTML works, okay? Use what is meant for a particular thing for what is meant for. And that helps your browser to rank well, when you're doing Google search, or you're searching for images and all that, okay? So let's keep moving. All right, then header elements. The header element represents a container for introductory content or a set of navigation links. So a header element typically contains one or more heading elements from H1 to H6, the logo or icon for your website, and then authorship information as well can be contained in the header element. Okay. So you can have several header elements in one HTML document. However, header element cannot be placed within a footer address or another header element, which means you can't nest an header element inside a footer element or an address element or the header element itself. Okay, so if you look at the code that we have here, we can see that the header element is inside an article. All right, and let's just quickly do this one. Let me see. I think there's still more code for it. Okay, so let's just write this code, and I'm going to create a new file again. Let's create a new file under day 14 and name it header.html. Create your structure. Bam. So in the body section, please, if I'm moving too fast, let me know so that I can slow down. I am moving too fast, please do let me know. And if you have questions, feel free to put it in the chat window. So we have article. Inside the article, we have header. Inside the header, we have H1. Just says, what does WWF do? Okay. And after that, we have paragraph, WWF, WWF's mission, colon. Then the header closes. And after the header, we have another paragraph. And I think I'll just go and copy my lorem ipsum. Copy from here. And I'll just paste it in my paragraph. Take all this down. Bam, 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 bam. Don't want too much long thing. And just bring all this down. Okay, I think that is fine. Okay, so we have used our header. And what we've used the header to cover is this section. In other words, this part of it. Okay, so inside your header, you can have anything you want to have. It's an element that can contain other elements as well. So, and why when you are designing your own website, when you are in the header section, like this structure I showed to us. Sorry. When you're in the header section, make sure you use the header element to enclose or create everything, most of the things you have there, or enclose it. You understand? So where your logo will be, where your menu will be, make sure the header is what you use. That's the good practice. What we are looking at is the best practice of, developing your web page, your HTML web page. Okay. So we've done this. We move to footer. Now the footer element defines a footer for a document or a session. A footer element typically contains authorship information, copyright information, contact information, site map, back to the top links, related documents, etc. So like this one that I showed to us, the Zoom platform I showed to us here, as you can see, this is the footer. Okay, and you can see that it contains different things, even the language, the social media icons are there, support with so many links, sales information, contact information, it's there, down. You can put as many information in your footer as the case may be. The cookie preferences is there, legal and compliance, all those things can go in there. So that is being enclosed as a footer. All those things are enclosed inside the footer element. So HTML sees it that okay, this is a footer. I'm going to treat it as a footer. Okay. Is it compulsory to use these elements the way you are seeing, or the way we are saying it now? No, but professionally, if you're really going to be a professional web developer or web designer, please use this element for their respective purposes. You will really be glad that you did use it. So, any questions? I don't think there's any question yet. So let's move forward. So this is an example of a footer elements code that we've seen here. Author, reference, and then we have another paragraph here inside which we have a link to the author's email. So this is how you can use your footer. And get your documents, you can practice this, as case may be, but let's move forward. We don't really have much time. Then we have the nav elements. The nav elements. Please, let's create a new HTML document. Create a new HTML document right there, as you are, and name it nav.html. nav.html. Create document structure. And when you've done that, please just write this code that you see on the screen in the body section. So we have nav, using it. Then we have a href equal to backslash HTML backslash. Then we have closing. Nope. Yep, the closing. In between, we have HTML. All right. So, and after the A tag, we have, I've forgotten what this character is called, but look for it on your keyboard. So I'm going to copy this and just duplicate it and make some edits to it. You can also try it if you want. So the second one is CSS. So I'll change this link also to CSS. And the third one is JavaScript. So I'll take this to JS and type JavaScript here, JavaScript. If you are done, please put it in the chat window, just so I know that we are all together and we are coding. JavaScript and jQuery. jQuery. Okay. Who is done? I'm done. So I'll save this. So if you look now, I want to pay attention here. Remember, we use nav. And what we've done here, we've just gone ahead to create some links. Now, because we use nav, look at the way it has arranged them. I'm not supposed to put this last one. Look at the way it has arranged them, of course, as a menu, navigation, all right? So if I run this in a browser now, let's see what it shows like. You can see the way it has arranged them as navigation menu, like a website menu, you know, like something like this. That's what we're looking at right now. Something like this, okay? So, and that is because we used nav. If you use something else, so let's try this now. Let's say we use article, for example. Okay, article. Come here, I use article. So when you use article, your web page, I mean your web, what's it called now? The what is this word? The browser will not treat it as a nav at all. You won't do it as a nav, it will take it as this is an article. So when somebody is searching, it keeps looking at what is inside there as what articles. Okay. So, but because you are trying to create a navigation, you use the nav element to do that. Yes, I'm the one that put the vertical lines myself. So it's a key on your keyboard. I've forgotten what that key is called. On my own keyboard is the second key, I mean, it's second function key on a backslash button. If you can't find it on your keyboard, don't worry about it. You can just use dash instead of this vertical line. Okay, if you've seen it, great. So well done, all of you that are done. Busola, Esther, Daniel, well done. So most of these things, you just keep wondering, you're not seeing much difference anyway, but that's the truth is use them for what they are being meant to be used for. Idayat, well done. All right, so let's move forward. Then we have the aside as well. The aside, you know, is used to place content on a side. All right, when I'm not going to write any code on this one. So the aside element defines content aside from the content in its place. It means it is placed in. That's like a sidebar. The aside content should be indirectly related to the surrounding content. So what we are saying here, let me see if I can find any website that has that. Which website can I? Okay, let's check out. mail.com. Excuse me. Does he have something like that? I'm not sure. I'm sure. I'm not sure I can find what I'm looking for here. Nah. Let's check out CNN. Excuse me. I'm just open an article and see. So you see what we're having here on this side is what we call the aside. That's what they use for aside to create this, the sidebar. I hope you can see the side I'm talking about on this right side is different from what is the main content, but you just have this aside where you can just jump to from one thing to another, maybe anything that you can put here. Okay, so that's what you use aside to do. Okay, create a sidebar and put stuff in there. Let's move on. Don't worry, you see all these ones in your when I send you the material. So we have figure and figure caption elements. The figure tag specifies self-contained content like illustrations, diagram, photos, code listing, etc. The figure caption tag defines a caption for the figure element. The figure caption element can be placed as the first or as the last child of, the figure caption can be placed as the first or the last child of a figure element. The image element defines the actual image or illustration. So if you look at this code below, so let's code here. So what I'm going to do here is I'll just create another file and name it figure. Just name it figure.html. Okay, do this. So here I'm going to copy. Let me copy one image from yesterday's folder from day 13. Let me copy small flower JPEG. And I'll paste. You can do the same at your end because I'm sure you have that image, this more image at your hand. So I haven't copied this image. Let's now code something. Let's write this code that we have below here and see what we've got. Figure. Close it, open it. We have image, SRC. The picture I have there is, remember the name of the picture you have that we just copied is what you paste there. SRC. Yeah, then we have alt equals to, I will just say flower. Okay, and then we close that. Then next line, we go to fig caption. Fig caption, can close it. Just say fig 1 dot truly, comma, Puglia, comma, Italy. I think that's it. All right. So if we look to preview here, if you look to the preview here, you can see that is saying figure 1. Okay. Figure 1, then you just put a description right there to describe or say something about this actual image. So this can either be below or beyond or at the top. So if you're creating a website, maybe like a textbook now, and you want to illustrate a figure, you use this to do the illustration. You want to illustrate an image. These are you describe the illustration there, okay, for that particular image or item you're trying to illustrate. You can use the fig caption. In other words, you're adding a caption to the image. All right, let's see how that looks in the browser. Yeah, as you can see, this is what it looks like. So that's what that does. Okay. This chapter is just to expose us to some of these things so that we know whenever we are designing our websites, we know what kind of elements to use. All right. So let's move forward. So these are some of the semantic elements that you see, or tags that you see in HTML. Okay. There's summary, there's time, there's mark, there's main, and so on like that. But the ones we've considered, the ones we are going to stay with. Okay. Okay, we will quickly breeze through style guide. I don't know if anybody has any questions so far. Your attendance is up. You can please go and mark your attendance. Okay. Okay, Esther, you want to say something? Okay, let me allow you unmute yourself. All right. I think you should be able to unmute yourself now, Esther.
Hello,
Hi,
can you hear me?
Esther. Yeah, I can hear you.
So I've noticed something that whenever I want to use the Lorem stuff,
Yeah.
add content to our tags,
Yep.
we normally go online
Yes.
to do such. But I don't know. I think I was doing something one day and I saw something like you going on issue.
I can't put together what you're saying. It's like your network is not that good. Hello, Esther. Okay, I'm not hearing Esther again. Esther, are you still there? Or maybe you.
Hello, can you hear me now?
Okay, let's try again.
So I said
Nah, it's not working. It's not working. I can't even hear you again. I can't hear you again. Can you try to put it in the chat?
of us going online to for Lorem. Okay, I'll try.
Hmm. Okay, just try and put it on chat window. I don't know if what you're trying to say is instead of going online all the time to look for Lauren some, can you just copy it and save it in a file? I don't know if that's what you're trying to say, but try and put it online so we can all see it. Okay. Uh, so while we're waiting for Esther's question or contribution or advice, let's talk about HTML style guide. HTML style guide. This chapter, we can't finish it today anyway. It's a bit long. So we're going to take a few of them. It's just about, it tells us about what I would call best practices. Best practices, okay? And I want us to pay attention. When you do things with best practices, you're a professional. Now, all these things we're looking at, especially the semantic elements that we've checked out, these are things that can come out in an examination or an interview for a job. Okay, so please don't forget. Okay, instead of Esther is saying, instead of copying Lauren Imson online, we can just type Lauren Imson in a Visual Studio Code and it will automatically generate the text for us. Really wonderful. That is good. I love my students. My students are really making research. This is very, very good. This class must be very, very interesting. Okay, let me see. Esther said I can simply type Lauren Ipsum. Esther, are you sure I'm not going to have to type any special code? So if I have my paragraph here like this, I type Lauren Ipsum. Okay. Oh, great. I'm clapping for Esther. Well done. Well done. So it shows that you guys are making research. That's good. Wonderful. So I don't have to go online every time. Thank you. Thank you so much. In our own days, when we started coding like this, we don't have this thing. We started coding with what's it called? Notepad. That's what we usually use to code. So well done, Esther. That's very good. Thank you so much for that. Thank you for that. Well done. So instead of going back and forth through browsers, I can easily just type it in. Good, good. Well done. All right, thanks. Okay, so let's move to our style guide. A consistent, clean, and tidy HTML code makes it easier for others to read and understand your code. That's very key. So for example, if I give an assignment to develop a full-fledged website, for example, and I want to read your code, if your code is not tidy, if it's not clean, I may have difficulty, trying to read through your code. It may not really be pleasant experience for me when I'm going through your code. So what we're going to be checking out is there are going to be guidelines, for us, and I want us to just pay attention to them. Let's listen. Let's try and understand what we're saying here. So the first one we're considering is that we should always declare our document type, which is this doc type HTML. Okay, and it's very important. And like I've told us before, it helps our browser to know what version of HTML code we are running on our web, on our document or on our web page. Okay, that's very, very important for your browser to know. So the next one is the use lowercase element names. When you are specifying element names, please use lowercase. HTML, yes, it will run if you mix up whether lowercase or uppercase. It will work. All right. But it's recommended that you use lowercase because mixing uppercase and lowercase names looks very bad. It doesn't show that you are consistent. It doesn't show that you're neat. It doesn't show that your code is plain. Okay. So developers normally use lowercase names. Yes, we usually use lowercase names. So you're a developer, use lowercase name for the names of your elements. Okay. For example, if you are typing H1, use lowercase h, then 1. If you are typing article, you use lowercase all through for the article tag. Okay. Lowercase looks cleaner. Yes, of course, as we've been seeing all the time we've been coding. Lowercase is also easy to write. You don't have to press your cap lock first before typing. All right. So it's easier for you to code with lowercase, as case may be. So I believe we understand that. If you have questions, please put it in the chat window. So if you look at the images we have, you can see the body tag. On the first one is in lowercase, and that's the best thing to do. On the second one, we have it in capital and in uppercase, and it doesn't really look good to my eyes even, looks somehow. So always try to use lowercase for your coding. Yeah, now we have close all HTML elements. Sometimes we make mistake and we forget to close the element that we have typed the opening tag. Sometimes we make that mistake, but it's always a good practice and it will save you trouble when you close your elements. All right. If I had taken us through using Notepad, for maybe like a month, you guys will be frustrated already. I believe so many code will be going wrong but Visual Studio Code, when you create your opening tag and it will help you to create the closing tag as well. That's the advantage of using IDEs. Okay, intelligent IDEs like Visual Studio Code. So please always, as much as Visual Studio Code helps you to close your tags, always ensure that those tags are closed or the elements are closed. Very, very important. In the image, we can see that the paragraph elements are not closed, and it's going to not work well when you run in the browser. So HTML allows mixing uppercase and lowercase letters in attribute names. Now we're talking about attribute names. Please, we have also been told to use lowercase for attribute names. For example, you want to type href, don't go and type href in capital letter. Or you want to type width or height or style, in your tag, your elements, and go ahead and start typing it in capital letter. It won't really appear well. Even to you, it will look strange to you. So in as much as HTML will not flag it as an error, it doesn't really help whoever that is going through your code or tries to read through your code. It doesn't help that individual at all. It's tacky as far as I'm concerned. It shows unprofessionalism. Okay, and that is not what we are trying to do here. We're trying to be professionals. So, however, it's recommended that lowercase attribute names, recommend lowercase attribute name because mixing uppercase and lowercase looks bad. Developers normally use lowercase look cleaner, and then it's easier to write. So as you can see, the href below looks strange to me. I don't know how it looks to you, but it's looking, Naomi, you're not serious. So it's looking strange already to me just by looking at it. And nah, it's not good. Not good. So don't do it. Yeah, so always quote your attribute values. I hope we know what attribute values are. So let me go back to this. Attribute values, like the value of this href now is this link you're seeing. This link you're seeing, you can see it is in quotation. So that's what we're saying. Always quote your attribute values. Always ensure you quote them. Whether you're using single quotes or double quotes, please ensure you quote them. But double quotes is better than the single quote. Okay, especially if your value will contain an apostrophe mark. So developers normally quote attribute values, and then quoted values are easier to read, and you must use quotes if the value contains spaces. And this is very important. So we're going to see a sample now. The one that is good. We can see that. Bad, nah, it's not good. And then the other one that is very, very bad is showing us an attribute value that has a space in between. And as you can see already, the browser will be confused as to whether strip is part of your value, or you should just make it another attribute on its own. So always ensure you quote your attributes, use double quotes. That's what I would advise that you do always. And that's going to help your work to make your work easier. Now, when using images, always specify the alt, specify a value for alt and width, and then the height. Okay, specify values for these attributes. It's important that you do that so that, like for alt attributes, if the image has for some reason cannot be displayed, something will be displayed for the visitor to at least tell the visitor a bit about that image that cannot be displayed. And for width and height, it reduces flickering because the browser can reserve space for images before loading. So because the browser knows that, okay, this space is in this dimension, you reserve that space, and then the image can load, easily. If you don't put the height and the width, it is possible that your image is too big or too small for where you want it to appear or where you want it to display. So specifying the height and the width will go a long way to ensure that things are displayed properly. So if you look at this image, this example that we have, the first one is exactly the way your image should be created in your HTML. Add the alt, add the width, make sure you specify width and height, either using styles or using the width and height attributes. Both of them would work. And the one below, it's not like your image will not show, it will show, but it's not a good practice. It's not a good practice at all. So space and equal signs. HTML allows space around equal sign, but spaceless is easier to read and group entities better together. What we are saying here, as you can see in the first example, which is the way it should be, there's no space between this rel and equal to, and there's no space between equal to and the first quotation mark. However, here we are seeing it this way. So it doesn't, how do I put it now? It just doesn't look good. It just doesn't look good. So here you can see that, okay, this rel and this style sheet, they are together. So they are grouped together. href and style sheet dot CSS are also grouped together. But here is like everything is just loose, like that. It doesn't work well. Okay, your code will run. It's not like your code won't run, but I think when you're reviewing your code, you won't like what you're seeing or the way you're looking at it. Okay. Avoid long code lines. Now, you see, when I pasted my Lorem Ipsum, you saw that I was breaking it into multiple lines so that I can have everything, I can view everything right in one window without having to scroll to the left or to the right. So let's try and avoid coding long lines. If you press enter and you go down to the next line, you continue coding, HTML is fine with that. Okay, your HTML is fine with that. So always try and avoid that. So what I'm saying is, like for this Lorem Ipsum right here, it was just a long line, but I had to be clicking somewhere, press enter to bring the line down, press enter to bring the line down, keep bringing them down until I'm satisfied like this. So I can easily view the whole length of my code like this from left to right. I don't have to be scrolling left or right to see the code. So avoid long lines of code. Blank lines and indentation. Do not add blank lines, space, or indentation without a reason. For readability, add blank lines to separate large or logical block codes, code blocks. For readability, add two space. For indentation, do not use the tab key. So what we're saying here is when you are coding like this now, you can see the H1 element. We know it's an header. You can leave a space, a line in between, then followed by H2. Then there's no space in between here. What you're trying to do here is to mimic what you want to see, on your web page. H2 also here, the paragraph followed immediately. And we all know that after paragraph, we always put space before we start the next paragraph. And that's what they are trying to do here for us. So it just helps your work to look neater and much more logical. So if anybody's reading through, the reading through is just easy for the person to go through. Okay. It just makes it easy for that person to read through your work, and the person will feel this person is a professional. All right. Well understood, I believe. So this is the one, this is the same version. This is a good version, and this is a bad version, right? For when you're creating your tables, when we talk about indentation, it looks good this way, okay? But if you just have everything on one side, everything is aligned to one side, using the same alignments, maybe everything is now shifted to your left side. You may not be able to know where the row starts from and where it ends from and where it ends. And that is not going to help readability. This style guide just talks about readability. There are many more that I'm going to show us or talk to us about on Thursday when we come again to class. So we're going to stop here for today. I don't know if there's any question from anybody or any other discoveries like Esther has discovered for us today. So please, doing those research is good, and trying to make work easier for yourself is also good, okay? So, and when you discover it, you can come here and share with us. We are all working towards being great and professional developers. So we'll stop here today. Cassette is going to be 1 hour. And I think we are on 1 hour mark already. I need to go. I'm still in my office. So we're going to be stopping here today. We'll continue again on Thursday by the grace of God. I have told us yesterday that there's going to be like a week break. For the first week of April, we won't be having class. I have a commitment I have to focus on. So please, you pardon me. After the first week, second week, we are resuming by the grace of God. I'll try to put up tests and quizzes to keep us busy during the break time. I want to encourage everyone to please ensure that they do it. You attempt it at least, and that way you're learning to be better by God's grace. All right. So, any question from anyone? If there are no questions, going to close the meeting today, and I'll see you guys on Thursday. So thank you for attending class, Sola. Thank you for attending class, Daniel. Thank you, Esther Ayola. Thank you, Esther Dumosu. Thank you, Esther Mojo. Are you sure we not name this class Esther class? Thank you, James. Thank you, Naomi. Thank you, Paul. Thank you, Tosin. Thank you, Grace. So thank you all of you for attending this makeup class. I'll see you on Thursday by the grace of God. May everything you've learned stick to your mind and to your heart, to your thoughts in Jesus' name with greater understanding in the name of Jesus. Yes, I'm going to upload the videos. I'm going to upload it tomorrow morning. I might upload one, no, tomorrow morning. I'm going to upload it tomorrow morning. So God bless you all. And may the Lord keep you safe and sound in good health in Jesus' name. See you again on Thursday. And bye-bye.